Yo, what is up, guys? It's Pedro here. Today, I'm going to be giving you guys 10 free agents that the Redskins could sign that could help them make the playoffs in 2020 and beyond. If you guys are new, subscribe for Redskins and NFL content. So let's get right into the video. And before we start, I'm not necessarily saying we are going to make the playoffs, but here are some free agents that could help us get better and possibly get us to the playoffs either this year or in the years to come. So we're going to do a total of 10 players. We'll do 5 on defense and then go 5 on offense. So let's get started. So our defensive line is pretty good and elite, but we do need to work on our secondary. So the first player that I think could benefit us a lot is Logan Ryan, and I do not necessarily think this is realistic, but if we would sign him, I think he would make our secondary a lot better. Last year in 2019 with the Tennessee Titans, he played in all 16 games, started all of them, had 4 interceptions, and also had 4 forced fumbles, 4.5 sacks, 113 tackles. Played absolutely amazing. Was all over the field and played pretty good. Got the Titans to the AFC Championship last year. So played pretty good, and I do think he would help us out a lot. He would be asking for a lot of money, but now the market has dried up, and I don't think that $10 million plus per year, I don't think he's going to get that. It's probably going to be around 5 to 9 million, 8 million. So we could get him for a lot cheaper, but I do think the Redskins are going to stick with who they have unless there's an injury or sign someone for the veteran minimum. But I don't think Logan Ryan is going to sign for the veteran minimum, obviously. So that's one guy. The next guy is Rashad Jones. He played for the Dolphins last year. He's a safety. He can play free safety or strong safety. And I think he would be good to compete with Sean Davis for the starting job. Last year, he only played 4 games. Didn't play that well, but in 2017, he made the Pro Bowl. And in 2018, he played pretty good too. 3 interceptions for 109 yards, returning a touchdown, and had about 70 combined tackles. And his advanced stats weren't bad either. 56% completion percentage in 2018. Obviously, you can't really count the 2019 stats because it was only 4 games and he was playing hurt. But he's a decent guy that can play strong safety or free safety. So he could, if Sean Davis beats him out, that's fine. He would still provide some good depth at the safety position, so I would not be mad if we ended up signing him. So the next guy, this guy is a huge risk, but Eric Berry, he hasn't played in the NFL in a long time, but you guys know he's a former All-Pro player, 3-time All-Pro, and he has really not been healthy since 2016, where he played 16 games, had 4 interceptions, returned it for 2 touchdowns, 1 forced fumble, had an absolutely crazy, insane year, and then had a couple Achilles injuries, which really derailed his last 2 years. And he took a year off, had offers from a couple teams last year, but really wanted to take the year off to get himself healthy. And I think he wants to come back. So if he wants to come back, I definitely would not be mad if we ended up signing him. Again, another player that primarily plays strong safety, but in 2017, in one of his All-Pro years, he played free safety. So I think he could pair along Landon Collins well, and we could get him for relatively cheap. Definitely less than $5 million in my opinion, especially at this point in free agency. And I think he would be a really, really solid fit for us and provide some good veteran leadership for our defense. And he could become a captain possibly for a defense because he's just been through so much in his career and he's been a really good player since he came in the league in 2010. So I think he would be a good signing. It is risky though because he really hasn't played a full season since 2016. So it's been a very long time, but on the other side, he has taken a lot of time off, so he should be healthy. The next player is another guy in secondary, Darqueze Dennard. I think we've talked about him a lot, but I really would like signing him. He's still young, 28 years old, and even if he doesn't start, I think he would provide some good cornerback depth. Last year, he played 9 games for the Bengals, started 5 of them, and even on a terrible Bengals team, he did play pretty good, allowing only a 49% completion percentage, which is really, really good by him, and only allowed 1 touchdown. So I think he would be a good player, could compete for the starting job, and if he doesn't, he's still a good guy who can provide some cornerback depth if someone like Fabian Moreau, Kendall Fuller, Jimmy Moreland, Ronald Darby, any of those guys gets hurt. And I think he would provide some good depth. And same with Ross Cockrell. I think he's another guy that can provide depth. He is 28 years old, and last year he did play for the Carolina Panthers, and he played pretty good. Played in 14 games, started 11 of them, 2 interceptions for 70 yards, had about 60 tackles. So not bad at all, and I think he would be a solid player for us. Again, played pretty good, 55% completion percentage, which isn't amazing, but it's pretty good. And the pass rating is really good, though. 68 pass rating allowed and 1 touchdown in the whole season. And he would be a guy that I think he wouldn't probably start, but would provide depth. And the good thing about him is he knows what to expect from Ron Rivera, and he can help lead the young cornerbacks we have, including Kettle Fuller, Jimmy Moreland, Ronald Darby. The only thing about him is he's not a very good tackler. If you look at his missed tackling percentage, it's 16%. That's not good at all. But he's pretty solid. So those are the 5 on defense. Let me know what you guys think about those 5. Now let's go on to the offense. So the first one is obvious, Larry Warford, who has made the Pro Bowl the last 3 years, and he's looking for a decent amount of money, probably around anywhere from 5 to 7 mil is what I see him signing for. And honestly, I think the Redskins could end up signing him, or I think they should end up signing him. The only problem is they do have Brandon Sheriff at right guard, and Larry Warford is a right guard, so one of them would have to switch. But I think it would be a solid signing, and the only problem is we do have Wes Martin at left guard, so you might be hindering his development. But if you want to win now, Larry Warford is your guy, and I think he would be a really solid signing. The only reason the Saints released him was because of the cap. They wanted to free up some cap space, so I think he would be solid on our team. Probably wouldn't make the Pro Bowl, but would still be an above average guard, and it would help out Dwayne Haskins a lot, because I'm just looking for us to get some more pieces on the offensive line, because a huge part in the development of Dwayne Haskins is going to be how our offensive line is. So we'll see how Wes Martin is. I would say if Wes Martin isn't looking good in training camp and none of these other guys are looking good at the left guard position, then you might consider signing someone like Larry Warford. He's been a solid player for the last, really his whole career. He's really never missed many games. The most games he's missed is 3, which is still not that many compared to Brandon Sheriff, Trent Williams, all these players. So next is Kelvin Beachum, another offensive lineman. I think he plays left tackle, but also can play right tackle occasionally. Him or Jason Peters would be good. I think Kelvin Beachum would be a little cheaper, and this is just going to be a matter of time. If we'll see if Sadiq Charles is looking good in training camp, then we're probably not signing a veteran tackle to compete for the starting job. But it could be a situation like last year where we signed someone like Donald Penn in free agency because Trent Williams was gone, and Donald Penn could be an option again this year, or it could be someone like Jason Peters and Kelvin Beachum if Sadiq Charles, Jean Christian aren't looking good, or it could just be Cornelius Lucas. But Kelvin Beachum's solid. He played for the Jets last year and played decent. Didn't play amazing, but an average tackle, and that's a lot better than what we have now. So now those were the offensive linemen I talked about. You could add someone like Jason Peters to that list, or another veteran tackle. But now let's get on to the wide receiver threats. So I think Josh Gordon would be a pretty good signing for the Redskins. Last year with the Seahawks and Patriots, he had about 440 yards or 430 yards, which is not very good, but he only played in 11 games and really was playing hurt for a few games and had to leave because of his suspension, and he got 440 yards. The year before, he only played in 12 games, started all of them for the Patriots and one for the Browns, and had 737 yards. So that's only 1 year removed from that season, and that's pretty good. I think that would be, he's still in his prime relatively. He's 28 years old, so he can still ball out. And in 2017, he only played in 5 games, but had 335 yards, which is really, really good. That's close to that's better than his rookie year per game and his 2014 year. So I would not be mad if we signed Josh Gordon. I think he could help on the outside. And hey, if AGG or Kelvin Harmon beat him out for that starting position, you got a solid wide receiver that can be a rotational piece and get 400, 500 yards. So I think he would be a great addition to the team. I know it's a little bit risky, but I think you could go for him. The next player is Demaryius Thomas. I really like Demaryius Thomas if we want to go for a veteran, because I do think we're going to end up having to go for a veteran wide receiver if Cody Latimer is released because of his off-the-field issues. And last year, like Josh Gordon, had about 430 yards, but was only played in 11 games and was playing a few of those games with Luke Falk, who was a third-string quarterback, and Trevor Siemian, so he really didn't even get to play with Sam Darnold the whole season. But in 2018, which was his year with the Broncos and with the Texans, he had about 677 yards, so he can still ball out, and I think would not be a bad signing. He probably wouldn't start, but he could start, and he would be another rotational piece, probably getting around 500 yards for us. He's about 6'3", 225 pounds, same exact build as Josh Gordon, and that's similar build to AGG, so they could help develop him if we sign one of those guys. The last player on the list is Delanie Walker, and I know he's old, but he's better than anything we have at the tight end position, in my opinion. Last year, he was still not healthy, but got 215 yards in 7 games. That is so much better than anything we have, and he's not too far removed from 3 straight Pro Bowl years from 2015 to 2017. And before 2018, he really had no injury issues, so I would not be mad with him. I think he could start. He could be a solid guy for us, at least for this year. It would be a 1-year deal, and we were interested in him early on in the offseason. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if you guys have any disagreements with this list. Hope you guys enjoyed. Smash the like button, turn on those post notifications, subscribe if you're new, and peace.